The stock market's crashing, crypto's at an all-time low, inflation is out of control, and it costs an arm and a leg to fill up your gas tank. So what better than today to watch a video about 13 highest paying work from home jobs with no experience needed for 2022, something where we can make some more money, especially from home, so we don't have to drive our cars out and waste money on gas. Hey everyone, my name is Mike Thomas. You guys know me as Mike from Maine. Today, we're going to be taking a look at this video by Karson Gaule so we can learn some extra ways of making money online without having to go and leave our house. So what we're going to do before we even get started here, if you guys can just go ahead and please hit that like button, it really helps out with my YouTube channel and I appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button and bell notification. We're going to give this video a like here and we're going to jump right into it.
Let's set the scene for your average everyday office job. You wake up, it's 6.
Oh God, I hate that sound. That sound of that alarm clock right there is like one of the things that I hate the most in this world.
6:30 a.m. You get out of bed and start to get ready for the day. You leave the house to start your hour-long commute into the city, and you get to the...
Do people really commute for like an hour? I'd be really interested. Let me know in the comments what your commute is like. If you're going for like an hour or more, I'm really curious.
8:30 to begin your day of work. All day you're tired, stressed, and your coworkers won't stop distracting you. You need a break, but you can't really take one. I mean, what are you gonna do? Get up and just walk around the office? You count down the hours until the end of the day and
I remember watching the clock like that when I had a job years and years ago. Wow, it was a long time ago. And I would just be sitting there watching and waiting for 5 o'clock to come. And it seemed like it would never would.
So you can leave and begin your hour-long commute again on your way home. When you finally get home, you get to enjoy just a little bit of time for relaxation before going to bed exhausted.
That's the thing. Like, I always hear people telling people that are like trying to figure out this whole make money online thing, and they're like, oh, you need to spend all your time, like when you get home, you need to spend all your time trying to figure this out and work until 2 in the morning and do whatever you can. But people are exhausted when they get home. Like if you have a normal job and you're working all day, I understand why people just want to sit on the couch and watch Netflix. And like they know that they should be doing something to better their lives, but sometimes you just need to relax.
Knowing that you have to do the exact same thing tomorrow. This doesn't sound too great, does it? But let's imagine
Let's take a look at her background here. I like, oh, what's that? Is that like a little fish tank? It looks like a little jellyfish in her fish tank there on the right-hand side. What is that? But I like her background. It looks nice.
Another scenario. You wake up, it's 8 a.m. You're feeling well rested. You get ready and then...
Ooh, that coffee looks good. I don't know about you, but I need my coffee in the morning. I think I've had like 3 of them all day today already. And yeah, I need my coffee.
Walk over to your home office to start the workday. You can do your work on your own schedule and you're actually more productive because you have less distraction.
You know, sometimes they say she says you're more productive. Sometimes I'm a little bit less productive because I have all day to do my work, that I'll procrastinate and I'll go watch YouTube videos like this one. And yeah, it's easy to kind of say, okay, I'll do it later when you don't have a strict time schedule to do that. So one piece of advice I have for you, if you're trying to work from home, give yourself a schedule and say, okay, you got to work from here to here, or you'll just work all day long.
At any time, you can take a break, maybe go for a walk around the park or do some home yoga. You finish your work and have plenty of time to relax and spend time with your family and friends. I'm guessing that if you clicked on this video, then you are liking the sound of the second scenario much better. I've started working from home in the last year or so, and I can honestly say that I'm never going to go back to an in-person job again.
I'm curious to what she does from home here. I'm new to her, so I'm wondering what she's doing, how she's making money. I hope she tells us.
There are just so many benefits from working from home, and it really works a lot better with my lifestyle. If you're looking for your dream work from home job, then one thing that might be hurting your chances is lack of work experience. So today, I'm going to cover 13 work from home jobs that don't require a college degree or much experience. And none of the jobs that I'm going to mention today are going to be these boring, mind-numbing jobs like completing surveys, data entry, customer service, or anything like that. I also made sure that my list has something for everyone. Some of these jobs don't require any experience but still pay relatively well. And then other jobs on my list are actually careers that you can get into that can lead to 6-figure salaries. But these ones, of course, will require a higher skill set, but you can learn these skills relatively easily online. So let's get into it.
Okay, let's do it. I'm excited.
The first high-paying work from home job on my list is project coordinator.
That sounds like you need experience. Project coordinator. Okay, let's hear it.
This is actually the job that I have currently and that I've kind of just started into right after I graduated college, but the starting salary for this position is like 50 to 60K.
It's a good amount of money. 60K for a starting salary. When I started doing, well, it was way back in like 2005, 2004, I was working at Georgetown University and doing marketing for them. I was a marketing assistant. And I think I started out around 38,000 back then. So it's pretty good salary.
So as a project coordinator, you basically take care of the different projects that your company gets from the clients that they have. This includes things like making budgets for projects, maintaining those budgets to make sure we don't go over, and also just making sure that the client relations are staying good. This is a really solid job to have, and it leads to a really good long-term career that has a lot of growth potential in it. In order to land one of these jobs, it is probably best that you do develop some sort of experience relative to the field.
So that's the hard part. Like to get experience, you need to get a job. And to get a job, you need experience. How's that going to work?
This doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go out and find a job related to it, though. There's actually a certification you can get from the Project Management Institute called the CAPM certification. This certification consists of 23 hours of training plus an online exam. The training plus exam does total about $700, but it's well worth it for the career you can get from it. And quite honestly, if you do land a job as a project coordinator and you do a good job in that role, you can easily be making six figures in several years. The next work
Sounds like a decent job. I'd be interested in learning more about how she's doing it. She said that's what she's doing. So it's $60,000 starting out with only $700 to pay for a course. I mean, if I was paying, how much did I pay for my college? I think way back in the day, I think I ended up paying, it was cheap. It was like $15,000 a year for my college, maybe like around 20. But $700, that'd be great.
From home job on my list is social media coordinator. The average starting salary for this position is $40,000 to $50,000. Social media coordinators are responsible for tasks such as planning and scheduling content across platforms, creating copy and graphics for posts, engaging with the audiences on social platforms through responding to comments and answering questions or DMs that might come through, and monitoring the performance of these socials, which then leads to brainstorming new ideas and implementing new social campaigns.
You know, that could be a fun job for someone that's really excited about social media and you know a lot about it. Like, you can really help out a business. You can help them and make money at the same time. But I don't know anyone personally that's done it. If you've done it, let us know in the comments.
With virtually every business trying to grow their social presence, this is a job that's in quite high demand most of the time, honestly. And it can be quite a fun job if you're working for the right company. And this is another one of those jobs with fantastic career growth potential. And you can make well over $100,000 in a higher level social media manager position at a large company. The third job on my list is an executive assistant. The average entry level salary.
So but we're doing all these from home, right? So we're kind of like a VA, a virtual assistant.
Salary for this position is around $40,000.
The incomes keep going down. So I guess depends which one you want to do. Like, do you want to do one where maybe these ones have less stress? I don't know. I'd rather get paid less and have less stress. That's just how I am.
Whereas if you have more experience, it can get upwards to $70,000. Executive assistants are responsible for managing the schedules and communications of company executives. Duties include prioritizing emails and phone calls, gathering documents for meetings, and coordinating travel arrangements. To give you a little more context for this job, I went on LinkedIn and found this job description for a remote executive assistant position for a media company based in LA. The description says that you would be assisting two vice presidents at
So you play a primary voice in the communication, organize, coordinate meetings, navigate platforms, be a positive influence, oversee an organization. This could be something that anyone can do.
The company with organizing meetings and communicating with clients and other teams. The skills and experience requirements are also very minimal, mostly just soft skills like being a self-starter and communication. The only hard skills I see are Google Suite and Microsoft Office, which most people either know or can learn pretty easily through YouTube videos.
I worked doing marketing at Georgetown, like I said before, and I didn't know how to use Excel spreadsheets. Like I still don't really know how to use them that well. So the things that you need to do for these kind of jobs, normally you can just kind of learn them later, and you don't need to learn everything. You just learn the specific skills that you need.
Okay, so moving on to the fourth job on my list, which is sales. The salary range for this one is of course very large because it really just depends on how successful you are at selling your company's product. You can make anywhere from $30,000 up to hundreds of thousands of dollars if you're the best in your company.
Being good at sales is something it's a huge skill. If you're good at selling stuff for people, then you can definitely like sell yourself to them, and they're going to be paying you. Like if you're valuable to them, they're going to pay you whatever you're worth. So it's learn how to do sales, read books about doing sales, and you'll make a lot of money.
From my research, I found that most positions will offer a lower base salary plus commissions, which is supposed to make up the majority of your income. And let me first just clear up a big misconception that people have about sales job and salespeople in general. First of all, I know that salesman does not bring the best picture of a person into our head, and I honestly should know best. When I first went to college, I went on a date with a guy that did summer sales. One of the first things he told me when he picked me up for the date was that from one summer of selling, he made enough money to buy a new car in all cash, which it wasn't even like a super nice.
It's kind of a weird thing to tell someone on a first date.
Kind of just more of a mom car, but like it was still impressive. So he took me to this restaurant and we were eating our food, and he was a bit weird, but it was okay at that point. It wasn't like anything to scare me off properly. But then about halfway through our meal, it really got weird and he started acting exactly the way that I would expect a salesman to act. You know that scene in Wolf of Wall Street?
Wolf of Wall Street's a great movie. I really like that movie. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it.
Yeah, he started doing that in front of the entire restaurant, and not quietly, with the bird squawks and everything. And I didn't know what to do because I wasn't about to join in.
He started doing that on a date? That's really weird.
And so I was just kind of laughing awkwardly and just eating my food and hoping he would stop. But yeah, anyways, after that, we did not end up going on a second date, but that is what I think of when I think of salesmen. But my point is, since then, I've met loads of people that have done sales as well, and none of them are quite as weird as that, so I really think that that traditional salesman picture is just an outlier. And after talking to all these salespeople that I ended up meeting, I did learn that sales is lots more than just cold calling people all day. You really don't have to be cold calling like 300 people a day in order to do well in sales.
Cold calling's the worst. I'm trying to think. I used to do marketing for my university, and we would call the alumni and ask them for donations for the university. You just call them up and you try to create a rapport with them and say, hey, when's the last time you came back to the university? And you talk to them for about 15 minutes, and then you say, hey, what do you think about giving money to the university? And sometimes people would be kind of mean to you, but other times, I mean, I did pretty well. I was always really good at getting people to participate, and I was one of the top sellers, I guess.
Sales. Most good sales positions that you'll find are business to business sales. So you're selling your company's products to other businesses that will actually benefit from it, instead of selling to individuals that are more likely to get angry at you for calling them randomly. That being said, this job is definitely not for everyone. For me personally, sales is one of the absolute worst jobs I can imagine. But that's just honestly my personal.
Sales, I don't hate sales, but there's a lot of pressure involved in sales, especially when you've done, like if a company sees that you're able to do X amount of sales in 1 month, they're going to say, oh, well, if you can do X amount, then you can probably do more next month if you try a little bit harder. So there's a lot of pressure in sales.
It just doesn't fall within the salesperson category. But if you're extroverted or even very extroverted.
I'm not extroverted, which is kind of funny. I'm decent at sales and I'm introverted. So, but it's nice because I'm better, I think, on the phone than I am in person. So that's nice about these kind of jobs is you can do them on the phone.
And this job could be perfect for you because of the high earning potential. The next job I have for you today is teaching English.
Ah, I've done that. I've done that in person and online. I used to teach English on some different websites, and I didn't like it. Didn't pay very well.
The salary for this position is around $45,000 to $50,000 for full-time work. And you don't usually need to know complex grammar.
I majored in English when I was in college, but I'm not like a grammar person. I couldn't explain grammar to you. And it didn't matter. Like they just wanted usually conversational English. So people just want to sit down and just talk. But then they would ask me random questions about why this and why that. And a lot of times I would just be like, I don't know, go and Google it.
when to use a semicolon versus a comma and things like that. Most online English teaching jobs are actually for students where English isn't their native language. So this job is more like teaching basic English speaking. For example, I found this job on LinkedIn for an English tutor. The job is remote and lessons are held virtually on Google Meet, where you'll have an hour-long conversation with students from the Middle East on topics such as food and travel. Okay, so now moving on to...
So, I mean, if you can speak English fairly well and you're not just like horrible at it, you should be able to get a job doing something like that. So if you're looking for a job where you can work from home, and you're not going to make a ton of money, like they showed you, it was like $50,000 a year, but you can make some extra money doing it. You just have to put in the work. And the hours might be bad too. Like if you're teaching people in China, they might want you to be up at like 1 a.m. your time. So just let you know.
Job on my list, which is graphic designer and video editor. I decided to lump these two together because they are pretty similar. The entry-level salary for these positions is around $35,000 to $50,000. It can really vary quite a bit. What graphic designers do is design basically any visuals that a company might need. These include logos, product packaging, infographics, and social media images. And video editors work with content creation teams to turn raw camera footage into great-looking videos.
Video, like these things, video editing and graphic design are like really in high demand. So if you can do that very well, you can reach out to people, design sales pages, social media graphics, videos. Like companies need this. This is something that like people will pay for. Not a ton, but they'll pay for it.
You definitely don't need a degree or previous professional experience working in these positions in order to land an entry-level position. However, what you will need is a strong portfolio and expertise working in softwares like Adobe Creative Suite for graphic designers and Adobe Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro for video editors. These softwares are really easy to learn through YouTube videos and through practice.
It's true. You can learn all these things through YouTube videos. Go and search, like there's amazing tutorials on these things. And a lot of times they will try to sell you higher advanced programs, but 9 times out of 10, you can learn everything for free on YouTube. I love YouTube.
And there are so many good courses for like $10 on Udemy that will teach you how to use them at a higher level. Overall, these two jobs are really good for you if you have a creative eye, and you can really forge a whole career out of it and have the potential of making a high amount of income as you get more experience. The next job I wanted to talk about is joining the NBA. That's right, I'm talking about the National Bookkeepers Association.
What is that? I've never heard of this.
At the entry level, bookkeepers make around $30,000 to $45,000. Bookkeepers handle an organization's general ledger by recording transactions, producing financial statements, and checking financial records for accuracy. Employers will most of the time want bookkeepers to have some sort of after high school education, but you still don't need to have much experience, and they will give you a lot of on-the-job training. And if you're serious about becoming a bookkeeper, then you can really increase your chances of finding a high-paying bookkeeping job by getting the bookkeeper certification, which is accredited by the National Bookkeepers
I wonder how much this costs.
Association. This involves taking an accounting fundamentals course and then passing an exam all online, and this all costs under $1,000.
Look, that's so cheap. I paid way too much for college.
The next job I want to cover is a really interesting one because you literally don't need any experience to get one of these jobs. I'm talking about becoming a virtual assistant.
See, that's great one. Virtual assistants are in need all the time. You see all these, like you're watching YouTube right now. You see all these people on YouTube. Most of them, the creators that have a decent amount of subscribers, have virtual assistants helping them. I have multiple people helping me with my channel. So it's like we need help because we can't do it all alone.
The position will usually pay hourly, and the average rate is $16 per hour. The responsibilities of a virtual assistant will vary considerably, but in general, you're handling the easy day-to-day tasks of a business. The pros of becoming a virtual assistant is that the job is usually very flexible with working on your own schedule. And another pro is that you really don't need any experience. But there are some cons. One being that this job is usually paid on an hourly basis.
Yeah, I pay mine on an hourly basis, or I pay on a per task basis. So I've had jobs that I paid a guy to do like per video or per promotion, but I've got other people that I pay per hour, and it's hard. I mean, you have to kind of figure those things out, what works best for you. But it's if it's an hourly basis, you also, I mean, you want to do it in a decent amount of time, but there's no incentive for the worker to work fast because they get paid less if they work faster.
So your employer will usually not offer health insurance, a retirement plan, and other benefits. It's also not the type of career that can make you substantially more money the more experience that you get. So your pay is usually capped on the lower side regardless of if you have much experience. And the 10th high-paying work-from-home job I wanted to talk about is transcribing.
That could be an interesting job, transcribing. I don't know how much money you'd make from it.
Average starting salary for this position is about $35,000
Yeah, it's not a ton of money.
a year. And with more experience, this can increase up to around $70,000 a year.
My mom used to do transcription just as a side job, and it's a legitimate job. Like, you just sit down, you listen, you transcribe, and if you're good at it, you can make some extra money.
Transcribing is the process of listening to an audio recording and then writing down what was said on your computer. Some businesses that are in need of transcription services are those in the medical industry, police or legal depositions,
Yeah, my mom did it for legal. That's what she was doing.
and reality TV interviews. You will need to be quite proficient at typing to get this type of job, since the application for most transcription companies will involve a test for your typing and accuracy. So overall, this is a really good job for someone with no professional experience, who uses a computer often and can type fairly quickly. Okay, now moving on to the 11th job on my list, which is content writing. The salary is around $50,000 a year for this job.
But people need content for their websites and for SEO. It's like really high in demand. You can put a gig on Fiverr and start making money like today.
Content writers create longer form text, and companies hire them to educate, inform, or increase brand awareness and drive traffic to their website. I found a really cool work from home content writing job for Forbes magazine. The job description says that you would be writing a minimum of 6 stories a week in the home and kitchen space. And the type of content includes writing things like best lists, reviews, and news stories. So overall, I think that this could be a really enjoyable job if you found a role writing in an industry that you're interested in. The 12th job on my list is a community manager, and the starting salary for this one
A community manager? Like a Facebook group manager? I'm confused.
is around $55,000 a year. Community managers are responsible for moderating and organizing audience members of a brand or organization across social media groups, Slack channels, online forums, and other communities. Typically, you'll be doing things like answering questions, moderating discussions, and adding or removing people from groups. And this is another good option if you have no experience whatsoever, since all you need is good writing skills and knowledge on social media. Okay, so moving on to the final job
Ooh, what's the last one? I'm interested.
on my list, and that is a translator. The pay is around
But don't you need to know another language?
$21 an hour for this position. And of course, this is only a good fit for you if you speak more than one language. One translation job I found on LinkedIn was from a company called Kelly, looking to hire interpreters for a few different languages. The advertised pay is $17 an hour, plus a few benefits such as a bonus and a holiday pay plan. And you can choose to work part-time or full-time. So overall, this is quite an easy, flexible job if you're lucky enough to know more than one language.
So I really enjoyed that. I think she did a good job in explaining the different jobs, and they weren't stuff that I'd seen all over the place. Again, if you guys have done any of these, let me know in the comments below, and how much money you made from them, if they were legitimate, if they weren't. And of course, don't forget, hit that like button. It really helps out on the YouTube channel, and hit that subscribe button and bell notification. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in my next video. Thanks.